has made Sean Combs a little bit nervous.
To me on that when you say, yeah, he looked like the gay homie, I didn't know what you were talking about. If you
No, I wouldn't go to... Do you think this might be too early?
Welcome back to new viral drama where celebs might want the truth buried, but we dig it up anyway because this tea is too damn hot to leave cold. The moment Diddy stepped into that courtroom, you could tell he was trying to play it cool. Sharp suit, dark shades, chin high. The man walked in like he had it all under control. But behind that smooth exterior, pressure was building. And the second 50 Cent's leaked audio started blasting through the speakers, the whole vibe shifted. Boom! Silence dropped like a bomb. The entire room froze. It wasn't just shocking, it was devastating. The stuff in that audio, let's just say it wasn't minor. Diddy's poker face, gone. That slick, unbothered mogul image, shattered in real time. You could see it. His jaw clenched, the twitch in his eye, the forced swallow. The man was rattled, and everyone saw it.
Now, Fifth, when you continuously call Puff gay, does that affect your relationships in Hollywood?
I don't call him gay. I said...
Let me read it, Fifth.
How did we even get here? Just months ago, it was all subliminal shots and slick talk. Now, we're witnessing a full-blown public unraveling, live. This ain't just drama, it's a takedown playing out in court. When Diddy first walked in, there was a chill in the air, too quiet. Eyes locked on him like vultures circling. He kept that back stiff, giving robotic nods to his legal team, acting like the king of calm. But behind those shades, you knew he felt the heat. People were whispering, refreshing Twitter, holding their breath. Everyone knew something major was about to explode. And when that audio hit, it did more than just shake the room. It blew the lid clean off. Then it happened. The courtroom flipped the minute that new audio dropped, straight from 50 Cent's upcoming Netflix documentary that's already causing chaos before it's even out. No one was ready, not even close.
And how much detail he could go into about his testimony. And because the 8 people in the videos, the 8 celebrities in the videos were allegedly victims of sex crimes, we know who they are, but we will not be naming them.
As the clip played, the silence was deafening. You could catch every single word, crystal clear. Diddy's voice, joking, smooth, almost playful, but what he said, different story. He was heard talking about going shopping with another man, casually offering to pay, saying he wanted to kick it. Stuff that might have sounded innocent out of context, but with the serious heat already on him, that tone felt loaded. It wasn't just audio, it was a crack in the mask. A whole other side of Diddy that 50's been teasing for years, now thrown right into public view. The air got heavy, gasps echoed through the room. Some folks looked shook, others just flat out uncomfortable. Reporters in the back went into overdrive, typing like their lives depended on it. They knew this was it. The moment the media storm would erupt. Even Diddy's lawyers weren't ready. They were whispering to each other wide-eyed. This clip wasn't supposed to be in play, but now it was center stage. At first, Diddy froze, just stared into space, no flinch, no blink. But as the judge allowed more context to roll, you saw it, his jaw tensing, hands locking onto the table like he was holding himself together with sheer force. Then it snapped. Out of nowhere, boom! He shot up yelling. Voice loud, words tripping over each other, full of rage and panic. It wasn't smooth, it wasn't slick, it was messy, real messy. Diddy lost it.
I don't know. I hope things are all right for him internally. Speaking on?
I mean, at the club. Because in the statement they mentioned this.
Oh, you talking about Jay?
Full meltdown. He jumped up, finger pointing, voice booming through the courtroom. He was yelling that the audio was taken out of context, accusing 50 Cent of chopping it up just to humiliate him. "This is manipulation," he shouted. You could hear the desperation in his voice, but it didn't matter. The judge slammed the gavel, calling for order. Diddy's legal team scrambled, trying to get him to sit down, calm down. But the damage, already done. That polished image, gone. Shattered in front of cameras, reporters, and the world. And meanwhile, 50 Cent is out here playing chess while everyone else is stuck on checkers. He's not just watching from the sidelines, he's pulling strings. That Netflix documentary, not just some artsy deep dive into hip-hop history. Nah, this was a power move, a well-timed, cold-blooded checkmate. 50 knew exactly what he was doing when he dropped it, just as Diddy's legal walls started crumbling.
Apologized, saying, "Sorry, Your Honor, I'm a little nervous today."
That audio, it wasn't a leak, it was a loaded weapon, and 50 aimed it with precision. As both the producer and narrator, 50 made sure the doc wasn't about Diddy's music or awards. It was a surgical takedown. Each episode peeled back another layer, digging into the stuff folks used to whisper about behind closed doors. Old rumors, quiet suspicions, now out in the open. But the killer moment, that private audio clip, slid right into the middle of it like a grenade. It sounded like casual banter, sure, but under courtroom lights, it hit different. Every word carried weight. People in the courtroom were already on edge, and 50 made sure they heard everything. And trust, that's exactly how he planned it. Say what you want about 50 Cent. Troll, savage, clapback king.
There's really no deal that the U.S. Attorney's Office can offer, and it's certainly not one that Diddy will accept. It would involve decades in federal prison. We're talking about mandatory minimum sentences of 10 years for both the drug charges and the sex trafficking.
But when he locks in on a target, it's game over. He's not just out for jokes this time. This documentary, it ain't petty. It's personal and calculated. Yeah, 50 and Diddy been throwing shots for years. Sneaky jabs in interviews, shady IG posts, low-key comments about wild rumors nobody ever forgot. But with Diddy's legal drama exploding, 50 didn't just sit back and clown like usual. He saw the perfect moment and went nuclear. Forget memes. 50 made a whole Netflix series just to put Diddy on blast. And this time, it ain't just gossip. It's receipts. He ain't just trolling, he's exposing. And whether it's out of spite, justice, or both, 50's showing the world a version of Diddy that's been protected by the industry for way too long.
The statement is something you can tell it was written by a lawyer. There's a point where it kind of gets aggressive. He's like,
this ain't just some beef, it's a war with a purpose. Yeah, call it a vendetta if you want, but 50 flipped the game. He didn't just weaponize a documentary, he used it like a mirror. He's daring the world to look at what's really been going on behind closed doors, and guess what? People are finally listening. And the proof? That audio wasn't just some viral soundbite. The court allowed it. That means it held real weight, legal weight. It shook the whole damn courtroom. When it played, you could feel the tension snap. Jaws dropped, eyes widened. Nobody could believe what they were hearing. That wasn't entertainment, that was a bombshell. And it hit hard. This wasn't just some casual convo. This was raw, unfiltered, and exposing. It ripped the lid off what people had only whispered about for years. When that audio played, it was clear. This wasn't just bad optics. Diddy's words weren't just weird. They sounded straight up incriminating. One of the most disturbing moments, that line, "Yo, why don't we go shopping? I'll pay for it." It might sound innocent to some, but in that courtroom, it landed hard. The way he said it, smooth, casual, no hesitation, no filter.
Could be a life sentence. The sex trafficking is 15 years minimum, and the transportation for prostitution purposes is 10 years minimum. So
it didn't feel like a friendly invite. It felt like he was pushing past boundaries with zero shame. Like this was just how he moves. That tone, that delivery, it wasn't harmless. It felt off, real office. The room went dead silent. Every face turned cold. You could feel people struggling to process what they just heard. It wasn't just one awkward comment. It was a pattern, a vibe that was undeniable. And then it got worse. There was more in that call, way more. Another line came out of nowhere, kicking it, followed by an even more bizarre and bold remark about playing with your booty in Miami. What? The courtroom damn near froze. Heads turned, eyebrows raised. You could hear gasps and shuffles. People weren't just shocked, they were uncomfortable. This wasn't just Diddy being reckless. It painted a disturbing image of someone crossing lines that shouldn't be crossed. These weren't jokes, not in this setting.
Sean Diddy Combs walked into the courtroom yesterday wearing a sweater over a white-collared shirt and gray slacks. He hugged his attorneys when he got in.
Not in this case. The things he said, the way he said them, it gave weight to all those rumors that had been floating around for years. Whether he meant it or not, doesn't matter. What matters is, he said it, and it's on tape. The courtroom was buzzing, not just with whispers, but with shock, and it was clear. This storm wasn't dying down anytime soon. That audio didn't just throw shade on Diddy's character, it lit it up. For years, people had been dropping hints, side eyes, and quiet suspicions about his behind-the-scenes behavior. But now there was proof, real, undeniable, recorded proof. This wasn't speculation anymore. This was Diddy, in his own words, sounding way too comfortable crossing lines that should never be blurred. And suddenly, the more serious accusations against him didn't seem so far-fetched. In fact, that audio fit right in with the darker picture painted by past claims. The way he talked, relaxed, casual, like this was just how things worked, tied directly into what people have been saying about him for years. That he's been running things behind closed doors with manipulation, control, and unchecked power. That audio wasn't just uncomfortable, it was a puzzle piece snapping right into place. And once it hit the courtroom, the vibe changed, for real. This wasn't just some wild rumor flying around the blog. It was now part of a legal case. The judge allowed it. The prosecution leaned into it. Reporters were scribbling like mad. You could feel the shift. Before that audio dropped, most of the case was built on statements and claims, a he said, she said situation.
8 celebrities, 6 men and 2 women. How many of those 8 celebrities were close to being underage or potentially underage?
2 males.
But now, Diddy's own words became the loudest voice in the room. It challenged everything his defense was trying to hold up. It gave weight to the claims about toxic behavior, blurred lines, and power plays inside the industry. And worst of all, for Diddy, it proved that this wasn't just one slip-up. It sounded like a pattern. And now that it's out in the open, there's no easy way to spin it. This audio clip flipped the whole case on its head. The prosecution suddenly had ammo they didn't even expect. It gave them the upper hand, and they used it surgically. With that recording, they painted a full picture of Diddy's alleged behavior. One that was messy, manipulative, and way too familiar to those who'd been watching him closely for years. And let's be real, it wasn't just about one off-color comment. This wasn't some slip of the tongue. The whole vibe of the audio revealed a deeper, more disturbing pattern. The kind of behavior folks in the industry had been whispering about behind closed doors for decades. Now, the whispers had a voice, and it was Diddy's. The prosecution didn't waste time. They spun it perfectly. This wasn't just drama between people. This was about control, power, and abuse of that power. The audio made it clear. These weren't isolated incidents. This looked like a pattern. And that pattern, it needed to be called out. Suddenly, it wasn't just about the list of allegations. It was about what this recording said about Diddy's character. And that hit different. The fallout was instant. First, Diddy's credibility took a nosedive. His whole defense strategy got shaken. His team scrambled to spin it, to walk it back, but they were on the ropes. Legal jargon couldn't hide the tone, the intent, the way those words came out. They were raw, and people heard everything. The courtroom buzzed with disbelief. The energy shifted hard. The defense looked rattled. Even their statement after the hearing felt weak, pure damage control. They tried claiming the audio was taken out of context, that Diddy's tone was being twisted. But let's be honest, the words were clear, and the court wasn't buying it. But by that point, the damage was done. The audio hit like a wrecking ball, leaving almost zero room for doubt or spin. It was raw, uncut, and gave the public a front row seat to a side of Diddy his team couldn't clean up. And once that courtroom meltdown happened, the media pounced. The chaos wasn't just reported, it exploded across every screen. Headlines lit up the internet like wildfire. News outlets, blogs, podcasts, Twitter threads. Everybody had something to say. Clips of the audio were replayed nonstop. Analysts picked apart Diddy's tone, his words, even his body language. It wasn't just a legal drama anymore. It had become a media circus. And the main act, Diddy. The entire spectacle turned into the moment the public couldn't look away from.
But I don't have that thing where we ain't had no thing. I wasn't sending nothing at him, big. If it was on the street side like that, we would be actively doing things to each other.
Why? Because this wasn't just anyone. This was Diddy, a man who built his brand on power, image, and untouchability. And now, he was being dragged through the mud live. The courtroom scene wasn't just news, it was a turning point. A man once seen as invincible was now caught in the fire. And this time, there was no slick press release that could undo what the world had heard. And the reactions? Wild. Fans, artists, influencers, everyone had something to say. People were divided and the internet was on fire. Some of Diddy's ride or dies were out here defending him to the core, calling the audio a hit job, claiming it was all an edited smear campaign by enemies with an agenda. But others, they were done, flat out betrayed. Longtime fans said it felt like the mask had finally slipped, like they'd been supporting someone who might not be who they thought he was. The illusion cracked, and not everyone was willing to keep pretending. For some fans, that leaked audio didn't come as a shock. It came as confirmation, like everything they'd been suspicious about finally snapped into place. This wasn't just a court case to them. It was a wake-up call. Seeing a figure as powerful as Diddy tied up in accusations like this, it shattered the image they thought they knew. And they didn't stay quiet. Social media lit up with reactions. People vented their disappointment, their disbelief. Some even called it the end of an era. The shock wasn't just about the content of the audio. It was about realizing that maybe the person they idolized wasn't who they thought he was. And the music world, it felt the hit too. Artists started chiming in fast. Some stayed silent. Others made subtle moves to distance themselves. A few straight up said what many were thinking, that this moment changed everything. In an industry built on image, reputation, and loyalty, this kind of scandal doesn't just hit one person, it shakes the whole tree. Artists who had beef with Diddy in the past, oh, they were watching. Some of them even hinted this was their vindication. A told you so moment they'd been waiting on for years. But not everyone was ready to speak too boldly. Those tied to Diddy personally or professionally played it safe, dropping vague statements, staying neutral, not wanting to risk their own standing until the dust settled.
Will you go out to the prison and will you visit him just for funsies?
I don't know. Look, because you think that right now he can feel like I'm his enemy.
Wait, right now wait, what? Yeah,
why would you feel that way? I mean, I'm not his enemy. The federal government is.
And through all of it, social media did what it does best, blow everything up. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. You couldn't scroll for 5 seconds without seeing a clip, a meme, a breakdown, or someone's take on the situation. The timeline was flooded. People were picking sides, posting receipts, and turning this courtroom saga into a full-blown digital war. And with each post, the fire got hotter. Everybody had something to say. From regular folks to industry insiders, timelines were flooded with hot takes, jokes, and deep dives. Some were busy trying to break down every word in the leaked audio like it was a secret code, while others clowned the whole situation with savage memes and viral edits. In this age of social media, nothing stays quiet, and everything gets louder with each tweet, reel, or TikTok. Diddy's courtroom outburst wasn't just a legal moment. It turned into an online spectacle, one that no one could escape. The media, already locked in, kept pushing updates, clips, and headlines. But social media, it amplified the chaos. Every reaction gave the story new life. And at the center of this storm, that old school beef between Diddy and 50 Cent, a feud that's been simmering for 2 decades. This ain't new. It all kicked off back in the mid-2000s. 50 was dominating the charts album after album, and he came out the gate swinging. He didn't just shade Diddy, he targeted him, calling him out publicly and making it known that he didn't respect the way Diddy moved. And Diddy, he never let it slide. From there, it became a game of chess, one diss at a time. Diss tracks, petty jabs, slick talk in interviews. This wasn't just rap beef, it was a cold war in plain sight. And now, with everything going down in court, that rivalry's been cranked to the max. This isn't just gossip anymore, it's legacy-level drama, and fans are picking sides like it's a heavyweight bout. Artists are watching, blogs are eating it up, and the public glued to every messy second. This feud isn't just old, it's iconic. One of the most talked about rivalries in the entire music industry. It all officially blew up back in 2006 when 50 Cent dropped that diss track, The Bomb, and made it crystal clear. He had beef with Diddy. That track wasn't just a jab, it was a direct hit.
Various charges against him. The 3 main ones are racketeering, basically extortion, sex trafficking, and the transportation of people across state lines.
It exposed the tension simmering behind the scenes and kicked off a years-long war of words, shade, and public spectacle. Since then, 50's made a career out of dragging Diddy. No filter, no backing down. He's called him fake, shady, even questioned his business moves, on repeat. Whether in interviews, on IG, or in his lyrics, 50's mission was simple. Keep the pressure on. Diddy, though, for the longest time, he kept it smooth, calm, collected, like none of it could touch him. He'd brush off the shade, stay unbothered, and act like 50 was just another loud voice in the crowd. But now, that calm is gone. The Netflix documentary, the leaked audio, the courtroom meltdown, this isn't just another diss. This is personal, it's strategic, and it's loud. 50 pulled out receipts that hit harder than any bar he ever wrote. And the wildest part, nobody watching this play out is shocked. If you followed this feud, you knew 50 wasn't done. He's been saying it for years. he had more to reveal, and now he's proving it. This courtroom moment, just another chapter in a grudge match that's far from over. That documentary, it was a loaded weapon, and 50 Cent fired it straight at Diddy's image. It didn't just highlight shady moments in Diddy's career, it exposed the unfiltered version of a mogul who's been carefully protecting his reputation for decades. The leaked audio, especially the parts with those bizarre and deeply uncomfortable interactions, only made things worse. Way worse. For Diddy, this trial isn't just a legal battle, it's a full-on war for his legacy. Sure, he's survived scandals before, shrugged off diss tracks, dodged public criticism. But this is different. This is courtroom-level chaos, caught on tape, blasted to the world with receipts nobody can unhear. And 50 Cent, he's not just being petty, he's playing chess. Long game, strategic hits, using his platform, his reach, and the momentum of a high-profile documentary to press Diddy when he's at his weakest. The move was brutal, and the timing, flawless. Right in the middle of Diddy's legal firestorm, 50 turned the spotlight all the way up. So now the world is watching. Fans are questioning, critics are circling, and the industry shaking. But what do you think? Is this the end of Diddy's untouchable status? Or just another storm he'll survive? Nah, drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear everything. Don't forget to smash that like button if you're here for the truth. Hit subscribe for more celebrity chaos and share this video with someone who needs the tea. We'll catch you in the next one because this drama far from over.